I'm going to hit the record button so I can make notes when we're done. I just want to say thank you because this is an honor for me. I feel very, very privileged to speak with you today. So
Absolutely my pleasure.
thank you. Thank you. So if you wouldn't mind, could you just tell me a little bit about what you do and just a little bit about yourself and where you're from? Just a brief summary so that I can, pass that on to my viewers.
Sure. So I'm a pain physician, and I also do pain research. I'm located in Haifa, Israel. I'm the deputy director of the Pain Institute here.
Okay.
And I also am very lucky to head the research unit at the Pain Institute, which gives me the opportunity to try and promote our knowledge on chronic pain and specifically on fibromyalgia.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, and I'm sure many other people who live with chronic pain know, fibromyalgia is one of the most frustrating conditions that we face because we really know very little about it.
Yes.
We don't do a very good job at diagnosing it. People, it
I
takes
agree.
time for patients to be diagnosed.
Mm-hmm.
And when they are diagnosed, we don't do a very good job at treating them either. So we still have quite a long way to go. But this frustration is also very good fuel for research.
I
And
agree with that. Yes.
so we are always trying to improve, to understand better the mechanisms and to be better to diagnose better and to be able to treat better. And I must say that I'm not doing this alone. I have
Sure.
a fantastic team here, and we're also collaborating with a great team at McGill in Montreal.
Okay.
And this is one of the biggest pleasures of of doing research is the ability to collaborate with really fantastic people.
That must be very exciting. You sound like you're very passionate about this work. And I really appreciate the fact that people, just knowing that people are doing something like this makes me feel really good because I've spent 2 decades with fibromyalgia and my mother as well. And so I don't want to just deteriorate into my, older age. I don't. And I'm very proactive, at least for myself, on my diet. And obviously, you see, I've done a lot of research. And unfortunately, myself as well as many others who have this, when we speak to the doctors, they really don't have the tools, like you said, to help us. And so those of us who are looking to try to help ourselves while you do your research and get those results and try to put those into practice, we're desperate and we're suffering. And I think that this is such important work that you guys are doing. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for saying this. So, when we are doing this, we have really three goals. So the main goal is definitely to have better tools, to have better clinical
Yes.
tools, to be able to treat better. And this is the holy grail, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we also have other two more modest aims. One of them is for people with chronic pain to know that there's hope, that they don't have to expect to be living their entire lives
Yes.
with the burden of the symptoms that they currently have. So I'm very optimistic that in the coming years we'll see a significant improvement in the way that we can treat pain.
Wonderful.
Second thing, which is also really important, is for clinicians, for people who treat patients with chronic pain, treat individuals with chronic pain, to know a little bit better and to be more informed about what chronic pain is really about. And I hear so many patients coming in saying, no one believes me.
Yeah.
My condition is transparent. They don't believe it. They say it's all in your head. And
Yes.
we hear it over and over again, even from people who treat pain. And this is awful because, I mean, it's not bad enough to live with chronic pain. You also are, I would say, um, not believed by the medical
I have experienced that,
clinicians.
yes, for many
That's
many levels. And I've been told things like, you should lose weight. Maybe that will help you. And I had endometriosis in my mid-20s and ended up with a full hysterectomy in my late 20s. And, unfortunately, I believe that had I gone back a little bit before then and had an understanding of the gut microbiome and other systems that work together in the body, that maybe I could have prevented some of these surgeries. I've been cut on a lot, and my fibromyalgia appeared right after my hysterectomy. So, I thought this is hormonal related, perhaps, or whatever. But I lost the gallbladder. I lost, so things started to decline, and now I'm 50 years old, and I'm learning so much. But I don't want to know more than my doctors know. I want them to know. And give me some type of answers. And I know that they can't spend their time studying your research and other people's research. So I in any doctor that I see, I try to take the information to them on a respectful level and say, I know that you don't have time to study this research, but look what I found. And I believe that if, in the process of while you guys are implementing testing procedures and so forth, that perhaps us as patients can respectfully go to our doctors and present them with this and help them, push them just a little bit in a very gentle way to have a little bit of an understanding for us. And so that's why I wanted to interview you, because I think this can empower us in a great way, because everything that I read on your research, I found that exact conclusion in a comprehensive stool analysis that I had done on my own. And it lined up just right with your research and the conclusion of your study. And so to me, it really said, okay, there's something here. And I have a really great understanding, not 100%, but more than maybe most people, not in the medical community, of the gut microbiome and how it affects the body. And so, I really think that if I can help other people and help myself, we can make a movement here, and just live a little bit better of a life by having an understanding of this. So I think the gut microbiome is the core. Your gut is the core of your health.
Yeah, so I agree with you 100%. And I think that it's a process. It will take time. But when we're looking at other medical conditions that were considered to be psychosomatic, like, I don't know, peptic ulcer, 40 years ago, it was considered a psychosomatic condition or disorder until they found the Helicobacter pylori. And now they treat it with antibiotics. So I think that it will take us time, but we will get there. And I must say, before we even start, that we know very little about the mechanisms that drive this whole thing. We were just trying, or we're making our first steps. So we really have to be humble about
Absolutely.
what we're saying to people, because we don't really know. We just are making our first steps.
And you're working on it. That's the most important thing, is that someone is working on
absolutely.
it. So I will confess that I am what you would call addicted to knowing information. I love information. I've been this way since I was a child. And so I'm going to take the information that I have and then act on it as best as I can at that time. And so to me, I recently was able to treat SIBO. I had 2 bacterial infections in the colon. One of those things came back on my test. And I went ahead and did the research on which probiotic. I'm going to treat it first on my own with natural ways, which, that's the decision that I made to do, because I wanted to avoid antibiotics in the gut to more offset the microbiome. But I really researched which probiotic strains were beneficial to heal my gut from those infections after I cleared them out. And it took me about a month to start seeing any progress, but I do think at this time that I am better from that. And so, and I'm going to be my own test subject. Other people can choose what they wish to do. Obviously, I'm not promoting any medical advice because I would never do that. So for myself, my biggest question after reading your study, a lot of this had to do with the butyric acid production, and I'm wondering if there are, with the strains that you found that were missing and the ones that were off balance, do you believe that there is, I know there's a lot of other things involved here, so I'm going to just narrow down to discuss this specific part of it, which is, do you believe that with what you found, that there are specific strains of good bacteria or things that we could do to start working on getting our gut healthy? Is there something that from your studies that and I know there are a lot of components that make this up, and I've studied a lot about bile acids because I don't have a gallbladder. So I know there are a lot of components, but I know we probably are very, have malabsorption problems and all those things. I mean, I'm 50 years old. I've been living with this for quite some time. So what do you think if you were in my shoes, if you would take some type of proactive measures, what would be the first step that you would take based on your research?
So that is a very good question. And when we try to interpret the findings of our studies and other people's studies, we really need to be careful not to mix association with causation, because when we look at two populations, one with fibromyalgia and one, let's say, healthy controls, then we can see many differences. Some of these differences can be actually can have a causal role in the development of the symptom of the condition, but others, they could be just caused by other random things, or maybe even be caused by the syndrome and by the I would say lifestyle changes that are inflicted by the syndrome. So we really need to make sure that what we're seeing is somehow causing symptoms before we try to treat it, because if we can get our chicken and egg the opposite way, it wouldn't be good. So basically speaking, when we're doing a microbiome study, we have like 4 major milestones that we cross. The first one is the association, and this is what we've been publishing up till now. So when we're comparing a cohort of women with fibromyalgia and a cohort of women without fibromyalgia, we see some differentially abundant bacterial species.